I know these are inanimated objects, but I think that they will be sad if they get stuck in the drawer. Hello and welcome to a new Sambaknits Podcast. I'm Beatriz, I'm the designer behind Sambaknits, and I come to you from Santiago de Chile. Today is Wednesday, October 28th, and this is an Inanimate podcast. So I have some old projects and old designs to show you today. One is actually a testnet, so it's new, but all the other ones are old knits that I wanted to tell you a little bit about. So. And before we get started, thank you so much for everyone who's been joining me on this podcast. I really love reading all your comments, and I feel more connected now with you guys, because when you work from home, you work like alone, and it's hard to feel like more inside the community. I don't know, so sometimes quite very isolated, I think, and this has been helping me a lot to feel more part of this knitting community, and I have been enjoying it a lot, and I felt very welcome, and I just wanted to thank you again and say welcome to everyone who's new, and if you're not new, welcome too. And I hope you like this episode today. So as I said, I'm gonna start with this one that I'm wearing. This one is the trio sweater. I designed this during the quarantine of the coronavirus this year. And I think it went live on, I think it was August, maybe July. I don't know. It hasn't been long that's been live, but it has, as you can see, already had a lot of wear, and it's peeling. I need to get a cleaner to get rid of this little things here. I don't know how you call it, these little balls. But anyways. This design, I started working on it on the beginning of the lockdown here in Santiago, because I was feeling but I guess everyone was feeling like that too, like very overwhelmed, scared and anxious, and I wasn't finding comfort in all the projects that I had going on at the time. They were more, not elaborate projects, but I was not enjoying working on them back then, and I decided, I thought I needed something very mindless, like very just to get, like, I don't know, in the zone, you know, knitting non-stop, like stockinetting around. That, as I said last time, sometimes I enjoy. I don't find it boring. I find it, I don't know, when it speeds up, it gets, I don't know, it gets quite relaxing. I think it's just like a way, an outlet for my anxiety. So I had these 3 yarns on my stash. But actually, they were not my stash. I was using them for a show that, not a design of mine, a show that I was working on. But even though it was the exploration station. I talked about it on my Spanish podcast. But yes, I have a Spanish podcast, so if you speak Spanish, I'm gonna give you here the link, so you can see the other episodes that I had previously recorded in Spanish. But anyways, I was really enjoying working on it, but the colors, like how they were distributed in that pattern in the shawl, it wasn't working for me. So I knew when I would finish it, I wouldn't be 100% happy with it. So I decided to frog. I wasn't that far along. I think it was like on the second section. Section number 2. I had just started. I think the brioche of the shawl. If you know the shawl, it's from Stephen West. It's a beautiful shawl. I plan to knit it, but I think I will use more like vibrant, like more Stephen West colors, more like vibrant neons and more, not like this one or more, I don't know, I think the term is like muted, more, even though this one is quite bright, like it's, I don't know if it's showing there, but it's a very bright red, I think. And it has like a sort of pink, I would say too. But anyways, I frogged the shawl and I thought I should cast on a sweater, like a very cozy, very relaxing to knit sweater that would be very mindless to work on, and that would keep me distracted and I don't know, relaxed when I would be working on it. So I casted this one. I made the math, and it was also one of those projects that came together quite easily. I made the math for the yoke creases, and I cast it on with a provisional casting, I think. Yes, this one calls for a provisional casting. And I started working. And I pretty much, because I had already started working with these yarns on the shawl, I didn't have exactly the full skein. I had it like 80% of each skein, so I used it pretty much until it ran out. And it was, when I was thinking about it, I thought it was quite interesting, because just the placement of the three colors would, in my opinion, would change completely like the whole outlook of the sweater, even though it's plain stock net in the round sweater. It doesn't have any texture or anything. But if I had placed it, I don't know, the red here and just switch these two colors, their order, I think it would look completely different than what it looks now. So it's actually a recommendation I make on the pattern, that the first color is, I think it looks more like the atmosphere of the sweater. So even though the sweater is not gray, because it's closer to my face, it looks grayer than it is, I think. And this is not like based on any, I don't know, mathematical theory or color theory or anything. It's just me and my opinion. So feel free to disagree if you don't think it's quite like that. But anyways, so I wanted something more neutral. So I thought I should start with this gray first. And I used it pretty much until I ran out. That was exactly on the yoke division when I split it for the arms. And then here, because this color would be between both colors, I thought I should put it. It would be a good place to work with the brightest color, the more like out of my comfort zone color, because it would neutralize it. And I think that even though it's like on my stomach, I don't think it calls attention to that part. I think it quite neutralize, I think would be the word. And then here the last one, I used the purple, and because I usually wear, how to say, dark leggings or dark pants, and I'm very short. So when I have like a more smooth transition between my top and my bottom, I feel it, how to say, elongates me, like makes me look a little bit taller. I am quite short, so that was my intention. So if you're tall and you would like to look, I don't know, shorter, I would say to do the opposite. Or if you, I don't know, that was what I was going for when I choose their placements. and I'm quite happy with it. It got a lot of views during the lockdown because I finished the sample. I think, I don't know, it was maybe May, June. Yeah, if it went live in August, I think it was like the end of May. Then we went on to testnet, and I think after that I pretty much lived in this during the whole winter. It's 100% merino wool from a Brazilian brand called Lã da Fazenda, means like wool from the farm, and the farm is actually called Fazenda Caixa d'Água. Fazenda, that would be like Caixa d'Água. Caixa d'Água is like the water reservatory that you have. I don't know why they put that name, but it's there, like the name of the place where they grow the sheep and stuff in it. They have naturally dyed wool, and they also have, I think this one was naturally dyed. Yes. This one was, I don't know the name in English, but it was Pau-Campeche, that a wood, I don't know the translation. I will try to look it up. This one was Cochonilla, I think. Cochonilla, maybe in English. And this was Indigo and Cochonilla. Cochonilla. I don't know if it's Cochonilla. I think it's Cochonilla, right? Anyways. And they have also more artistic dyeings, like with speckles and variegated yarns. But it's quite rustic, and it got, as I said, it got a lot of wear, and it peeled. But I don't know. I don't like. I know many designers, they need their samples and they keep them like they keep them safe, like they don't use it so it doesn't wear out like, so it won't peel and won't, I don't know, have any, so it will look new and good. But I don't know, I don't like the thought. I know these are inanimated objects, but I think that they will be sad if they get stuck in the drawer. I like that the knits are being used. But yeah, so this was the trio sweater. I think it was a 375 millimeter needle that I used, and knitted in the round, all stockinette, and it has like I don't know if you just see a small split hem detail here. Yeah, it's like this, quite simple. And you can use more colors if you want. It's just like one of those projects that I think it will also look very good if you use like lots of minis, or just use some leftover yarn that maybe doesn't would not be enough for one big project, but you can coordinate, and it's just plain stockinette, perfect. There's nothing more suitable for TV knitting, I think, than stockinette in the round. So yeah, it has a lot of, not a lot, I think it was like 4 inches of positive ease, so it's very like comfortable, and yeah. And today is here in Santiago, it's a bit not, still spring, still not cold, but cold enough, like fresh, I would say, like I think it was 15 Celsius. Yesterday was a bit chilly, but today not so much, it's already sunny, and but yeah, still the last days of sweater weather, I would say. So yeah, this is the trio sweater. It's on RAVELRY, Payhip, and Lovecraft. If you wanna go and get a copy, And yes, that's it. Hi, I'm back. This is the test knit I was talking about. It's called the Ondas Hat. Ondas means waves in Portuguese, and the cable pattern reminded me of waves, so that's what I name it, Ondas. It's worsted. It's not worsted, but I think it's worsted, but in RAVELRY it says that it's DK weight yarn, but for me it feels a bit, maybe it's a heavy DK, a light worsted yarn. This yarn is here from Chile, from Lanabelle, Lanabelle Super Sport. It's the name of the base. It's 100% wool, and is I don't remember the number of the color, but I'm gonna list it down. It's sort of like it's not undyed, but it's like very like sand, I would say, like a sand color, like. And I really like this color. It's like, I find it very neutral. And yes, let me try it on. So it has a double brim that you fold, a folded double brim. You can also work it just one if you prefer, or you can even, how do you say, work it as a stable double brim. I didn't do this on this one, but if you sew the brim and work it like a proper double brim, I think it would look good too. It would be something more like this, instead of having the brim folded to the outside. It was worked, yeah, the brim was worked on a 5mm, and so US 8, and the body of the hat was worked on a 5.5mm, so US 9. And don't be fooled by the amount of like, how to say, twist crosses. It's I think it was only 4 like cable rounds. The other one is just stockinette, but they are big crosses, so you need a cable needle. You cannot, I wouldn't try cabling without a needle with such a big, with such like a large cross. I would be afraid that the stitches would fall off. But yeah, so this will come in baby, toddler, child sizes, and adult, small, medium, and large. This one is the small. For me, it's quite tight. It's quite snug, actually. It was for Christopher. He has a smaller head than mine, so I'm gonna try to take pictures of him wearing this weekend. And yes, so it was worsted with a light worsted heavy DK, and I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4 cable rounds. The rest is pure stockinette. Because I know when you look at this, it might seem quite intimidating, all those cables and stuff, but it was not. And you can also work, as I said, like the double brim. You can sew them together, so it's a proper double brim. You can fold it like on the outside. That's more how I would wear, and I think it makes like a very warm hat for your ears when you have like this double brim. I really like working double brims in hats. I really like working hats. In fact, I wear, when I moved to Spain, I realized that, because in Brazil you don't have to wear a hat unless it's like a fashion statement. But when I moved to Spain, I realized that I got very cold if I wasn't wearing a hat, and ever since them all the winters here, there and here in Santiago. I use hats to go everywhere. Otherwise I get really cold. More even than the I don't like to wear mitts. It has to be like really freezing to wear mitts or even cowls. I usually just put like the zipper of the sweater until like as high as it goes, and that's it. Unless of course the sweater, the outside sweater, it's like has like a low, not a low neck, but it's not like usually I have my coats have a big cowl, so I don't put like a scarf or a cowl on top of it, and that's fine. But the hat for me it's like I have to have one. I have to have hats, otherwise I freeze. But anyways, so yeah, this is worsted weight, light worsted, heavy decay. The test starts Friday, and I need still like 2 people, I think, for each size. So baby, toddler, child, small, medium and large. So it will be 6 sizes, and that's it. If you are interested on test knitting it with me, send me a message on RAVELRY on Instagram. I am Sambaknits everywhere, or even through email, sambaknits@gmail.com. And that's it. I hope you guys join me. So the last thing I have to show you today, actually there are like 6 things, but it's like the last section of things, let's say, was what I mentioned on the last episode, that I usually knit myself a pair of socks, and then with the yarn that's left over from a 100 gram skein, I knit myself the Ripple Bralette from Jessie Maed. So these socks are a design of mine. They are free on RAVELRY. They are called the Flawless Socks, and it's worked on the I Knit London yarn on their, I think, Flawless base. And the colorway, we don't remember the name, or maybe the colorway was Flawless. Anyways, I forgot. It's been quite a while, like over a year now, and it slipped my mind. I'm gonna leave it written down. So it's just a very simple sock with a 3x1 broken rib and heel flap and gusset with slip stitches. This pattern is written for the Magic Loop method, and it's worked from the toe up. And I don't like my socks to be very high, so this one is like 4 inches here for the leg, but I think that for me is what works best, because if it's really cold, I'm probably gonna have another pair of leggings under my jeans or something. And anyways, this is the Flawless socks, and after I worked this, I had, I don't remember how much, but I think it was like 40 grams of yarn left. So I made myself the Ripple Bralette from Jessie Maed. This was my first Ripple Bralette, and you can see I even had enough, I think I even had some left, to make the straps like the crossed straps here on the back. And I really like it. I use this bralettes a lot on winter, and I use them as if they were a bra, and they are quite warm because they're like 100% wool, And they have, I know I'm not like super heavy chested, but I think they offer like quite great support, and I really like it. So this one was my first pair, and I think this one I worked on a 2.5 millimeter, and this one was I worked in the needle size that I don't remember now if I follow the if I got gauge or not, but I think I went up a needle size. I think I went because for the ribbon they call for 1 needle size, and then for the like the body here they call for another one. I think I went up a needle size. I'm not sure. I don't know if I had how to say, a while ago I didn't have the good habit of putting all the notes in my RAVELRY projects. So I don't know which needle size I use. I'm gonna check, but I don't think it's listed there, which is a shame because it's always good to have those notes to like for future reference in your projects. So let's move on. This one is the other pair. This one are the Mawa socks. They are also peeling because I also wear them out. This one I also wear them too a lot, and they are also peeling a bit. But you probably can see. I don't know. But yeah, they are socks. They are supposed to be worn. They will be sad if they stay on the drawer. That's what I always think. So I think we have to wear our knits. So these are the Mawa socks, and this is from, I think they're from Argentina, the yarn, Araucania, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. And I don't know if you can see one. They have like, it looks a bit big on the blocker, but it has like a lace panel here with I'm sorry, I'm pointing to the part where I'm seeing and you cannot see that. I'm sorry. They have like this lace panel here and this reverse stockinette here, and then the back is all in stockinette. They're also the patterns also for the magic loop method, and also toe up with a heel flap and gusset. And I really like how they fit. This one I think is one of my favorite fits. And yeah, it's also available on all of the ones I'm showing. You guys are available on RAVELRY, Lovecraft, and Payhip. And this, I think I will use it. I use also like 60 grams, and this is the Ripple Bralette that goes with it. And this one is actually my favorite of the bralettes. I also don't think I made notes, like proper good notes, to know if I change needle sizes or something, but this one fits me best than the other two. And I think it must be a small difference in gauge or maybe in the yarn. I'm gonna measure it after this to try and figure out this, because it's quite like, if you compare them, let me see. Like, oh yeah, no, actually, oh, they have quite a big difference if you can see. Like, this would be like 3/4 of an inch, I think. I have never realized that. But anyways, this green one is the one that fits me the best. It really it has lots. This pattern from the SMA, it has lots of negative E's. That's why it like supports your breasts, and it was actually on this pattern that I learned how to do the old Norwegian custom. So I'm forever thankful for that pattern because of it. And yes, so this one is the one I like the best. I don't know if I changed needle sizes or what I have done, but it fits me best. And this should be something to keep in mind, that you have to take good notes on even on RAVELRY or on whatever you prefer to write down your pattern or your project info, so you can check the future references. So you can know that which needle size you use, why it works best, why one worked best than the other and stuff. Because otherwise you might make not a mistake, but you may waste time, I think, or maybe something you won't learn from your like past knitting experience, I think. So lately I have been trying to be better at my notes taking and stuff, but still I don't know. And this one was is the last pair. These ones are the Tuscany socks. They were a collaboration with Miss Babs, and I used here the Hot Shot base that was, I think, 75-25, Santan Merino 25 nylon, I'm not sure. I think they discontinued this base, but the colorway, I also think that they have this colorway in other bases, and I really like it. This one is has lots of cables, so also got lots of love as a toe-up with a Staghorn cable that goes here on the central and a small cable on the sides that then joins, and you also work a cable on the back here. When we were test knitting this, we realized that we had to go up a needle size or even two on the after the heel, because the cable changed the tension a lot and it became quite tight. So if you don't change it, it might not fit you well. It might be too snug on your calves. And so yeah, the pattern has directions for that, and also directions if you want to increase the leg part, so to accommodate your legs best. And yes, also heel flap and gusset, that's my favorite construction method for socks. For me, it's what fits me best, so that's why I always make them like this, my patterns. Because when I use afterthought heel, even though I think it's super cute, for me they don't fit me that well. I don't know. I think I have super high instep, I think. So yeah, that's it. And this one was the ripple bralette that goes with the socks. Again, no notes, no nothing. A habit I'm trying to break because I need these notes. And let's compare with the green one that I said that fits me best. This one is even shorter than the... No, it's not that much. it's hard to, I know it's not accurate what I'm doing, but yeah, this is like 1/4 of an inch, or half an inch maybe difference. So this difference might be because I've changed needles, but also could be because of the yarns, because they're all different yarns. But anyways, they all fit. I wear them all. I love them all. And I will probably knit more of them because it's a great pattern, and I love that it just, how to say, adds up perfectly. A pair of socks and a bralette for me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to show you today, and if you did, please subscribe, leave me a comment, if there's anything in particular that you would like me to talk about, or I don't know. Another thing. I have now started a project with my own self, like, how to say, a new goal for me, that every weekend I'm gonna work on someone else's design. I cannot work on my designs during the weekends. So this last weekend I started the Soldotna crop top from Caitlyn Hunter from Boyland Knitworks, and I'm gonna show you next time, because I love working on my patterns, don't get me wrong. I feel so lucky that I am able to work with this, that it's that has been my hobby for I don't know how many years. But when you just design, it feels like sometimes that you are, I don't know, just like putting it out and you're not getting anything in. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I need also to feed myself creatively. I think with other designers' patterns, not only looking, but like how they write their patterns, how they, I don't know, which techniques they use. So that's the best way for me to learn, is to knit someone else's patterns too. And it's also much more relaxing, because when you are knitting your own pattern, you have to be taking notes, and this sleeve is not working, why it's not working, why I'm gonna have to shrug this like for the 5th time or something. So you have to, you don't have to do anything you don't want, but when you're working someone else's design, you can just like be a passenger and learn and enjoy. When you're designing, it's super fun, I love it too, but it requires more attention. So I realized that I was needing to feed myself more creative, I don't know, you understood, to know, I don't know, get more ideas, develop more, especially with the Soldotna, I want to develop more colorwork skills, because Caitlyn Hunter is a great colorwork designer, and a great designer overall, but she's known for her colorwork. And I have designed colorwork, I know colorwork, I can make colorwork, but I wanted to improve myself with colorwork and develop my colorworking skills. So that's what I chose the Soldotna. So I'm gonna show you next week, because so far it's just too small, just like the ribbon here, so it's no Soldotna yet. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed spending this while with me. And if you did, please give me a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment saying what was your favorite project that I showed you today, or if you want to hear me talk about something in particular, or if you just want to say hi as well. I would love to hear from you guys and know what are you guys working on as well. Okay, so bye bye.